So today we're going to talk about HR policies, and I have some questions for you about district HR policies and kind of how that plays into your role. Okay, so can you tell me about district hiring policies and processes and expectations for campus principals and how you have to
So really when we're looking through the employee portal, we can choose who we want to pull in for interviews. We pull them in for interviews. We have to have at least 3 people that we interview for the same position. And then within that, we have questions that the district provides us that are geared towards certain things, like a classroom teacher, the choir teacher, the PE teacher. But then yet we have the autonomy to add questions. But whatever questions I ask you, I have to ask all 3 candidates. So that's why I always tell teachers, please do not add any questions, because they all want to ask something extra. And I'm like, nope, we can't ask. So I always tell them that before we go in. We have to, if we do like somebody, we cannot offer them the job. We have to tell them if we like them, we say, I've got to call your references. And then I typically will call them back and say, I really liked you, the committee liked you, the references checked out, I'm recommending you to HR.
Okay.
And they will offer you the job.
I've heard you say that, right? We're going to recommend you for hire. Okay.
Yes. Yes. So we can't do that.
Hi, thank you. Okay.
Let's see, what else was there? I don't know what else.
I have a question. What if there aren't 3 candidates? Like, there are not 3 applicants?
Great question. So, like, right now, the pool is so slim that they tell us we know that we're in a hiring crunch. Like, we have a lot of empty vacancies. So they say if there is not one and you set your date, then interview that one. But they really recommend at least more than one. So sometimes what I'll do is if, like, okay, let's say I've got several positions open. I interview, and I tell, like the other day I interviewed for a Aspire position out there, and I'm going to have another para position open up soon. So I said, got this position, and I know I'm having this one open up.
Okay.
And so that way they know that they're interviewing for both positions.
Oh, okay. So you can kind
covers
of
it.
cover. Okay. What about district documentation policies and
For hiring.
processes and expectations? Around hiring.
So anything that we do for hiring, so we have the questions and everybody writes their answers, I have to hold on to those.
Okay.
So right now I have them in a locked cabinet, and then at the end of the year I put them in like what we call the baker's box, that we file in there, and we keep. I think we can get rid of them after the same year, but I just file them and keep them for the 3 years.
Okay.
Like I do everything else.
Okay. What about also around like retention and like recommending for for renewal of a contract and for non-renewal?
Right. So it's a process with a non-renewal. So you have to stay in really close communication with HR. So if it's somebody, let's say at the beginning of the year did some walkthroughs on, and you're like, oh, there's some flags. You want to first start with coaching. You go in and start coaching. If you're still seeing these flags or these warning signs, then you can put on like a like what would be called like a growth plan, but like a plan, and go through that. But as soon as you put anybody on a plan with Waco ISD, we have to let our HR department know, and then they become involved in it just on the backside, just like following the documentation. And that way, we have to give enough time that we've done the plan. If the plan works, great. We move on to something else that we need to make a plan for. If it's not working, then that's good documentation for non-renewal. It's kind of like a process with a non-renewal. You want to make sure that you've done everything that you possibly can. You want to show that you've sorted, because at the end of the day, that's somebody's livelihood too. But we're here for kids first.
Right.
So it's kind of a thing you've got to weigh, are we doing everything? Can you walk away saying I did everything I could for that person?
That's what I'm learning, reading the Texas Documentation Handbook. It is very difficult to do a non-renewal.
It is. Like the probationary ones, so those ones that are there that first year is a little bit easier because they're on probation.
And does Waco ISD just do 1 year of probation?
It depends on how many years they've already worked. So like if it's a brand new teacher, this is their first year, they're on probation for 3 years.
Okay.
If they are new to the district, they're on probation for 1 year.
1 year. Okay.
So I mean, not that I want to say probation's easier, but it is because you're not on a term contract.
Right.
Once you get on that and you hit that, then you really have to have a lot of documentation. I stay in, the minute I have to, like, even if it's not with instruction, let's say I'm having to do just a summary email or a write-up with a teacher, like, for any reason, I include HR right away.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I just drop an email, say, sending this, and then they also will look at if I have to do a write-up, you're paired with somebody from HR, and so the person I'm paired with, I'm like, hey, can you read this, make sure it's right.
Oh, okay, so you have like a go-to person in HR who will.
Yes.
And you run, I'm sure you
I run
things
everything
by
by her.
before you. Okay.
Yep,
Oh,
everything.
that's good.
I just feel like if I run it by her, I feel like I'm correct in what I'm doing. So yeah, I run everything, and I will share all of my stuff. Like, here's my Google form. My Google Docs that I've written. And she's been great. Like, most of the time, it's just the edits of my grammar. But
okay.
But no, she'll guide you through it, because like writing something like that is difficult, because you not only as an administrator have to take out your emotions, but you also, when you're writing something, you have directives. Like, moving forward, this is my directive, and like keeping it very simplified and direct, you know, and keeping those emotions out is sometimes hard. You don't know it is hard.
Yeah. No.
And
yeah.
So she does great. She helps edit that.
That's good. And you don't feel like she's a partner for you. You don't feel like, oh, I don't want to.
Nope. Absolutely.
Okay. Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
That is so good. Okay. Is there anything else about like HR policies or procedures that?
No.
When it comes to HR, are they when you're interacting with HR, is it mostly about hiring, non-renewal, renewal of contracts, like, or are there other?
There's other things like we talked about, like if I have a teacher that has done something, I contact HR. If I have a parent that has got a pretty serious complaint about a teacher, I contact HR. If I see a teacher's mugshot on the website with the McLennan County, I contact HR. So it's not just, I don't deal with them just for hiring and that purpose. It's for everything that's like staff related. Yeah.
Staff related. Okay. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things that I am thinking a lot about as I'm reading that documentation handbook is like you were saying, it's somebody's livelihood, but also like kids have to come first.
Yeah.
So how do you balance?
It's very difficult. I really, you know, and sometimes I feel like I'm a sucker, because sometimes not that I'm putting that staff member first, but like I always think like, oh, well, she's trying, but is she really trying?
Right.
Like, you have to like look through, like, are they talking a good game? You have to really make sure the data's there. It shows you're in those classrooms. So part of the thing, whenever I do anything, one of the goals is we will be walking in and we will this many times before this date. I mean, I just go ahead and I set it, so that way she knows too. So either A, you're going to jump to, I don't hide it from her,
so that
or
they don't say like, I'm being targeted, or
I just tell them at the beginning, like, I'm going to be in there to help coach and support you, but in order for me to do that, I've got to see what's going on at all parts of the day. Right. So they know I'm coming in. Yeah. And so, I mean, because if you're not seeing it, you can't really do anything.
Right.
So you
That's
gotta be in
true.
those classrooms.
That's true. You can't just
do hearsay.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. Okay. What documentation, like, system do you? I guess everything goes into T-Test. If they're on a growth plan, or if they're
that's
so
in
every
T-Test.
time you're in their classroom,
all my walkthroughs go in there. Now we're doing something different in Waco IC, which I think I shared with you guys the other day with the MCLs, that support cycle.
Yes.
Not putting those in.
Right.
We've created our own like Google Doc, so it's like a coaching Google Doc, so that we can see for our benefit.
Right.
But we follow up with an email to them like, hey, here's your glows and grows. So they're getting something, but it's not T-test related.
Okay.
Not everything goes in there. So like if I have a meeting with a teacher, and I think I've told you this before, I follow up with an email. Always follow up with an email. If it's a conversation that needs to be taken seriously, or just for documentation purposes. And then
CCHR.
On some of them, if I need it.
Okay.
Like when I had the teacher that was vaping in the classroom and all that, like, yes, that I did. But like, for example, if it's something about, I don't know, I mean, nothing's minor if I'm having a time, but like they are extreme. Like, we've got teachers like, you're not going to yell at a kid, and, you know, be mean to kids, but if your tone is what I'm addressing, unless it's something that was like you're cussing them out, then I would include HR. But if it's your tone I'm addressing, I would just do it for me. But it goes into like what we call like a note to file. So like I go ahead and every email I move electronically into a folder,
Okay.
and I just title that folder for that year, and then I've got all those emails in there. And then at the end of the year, if I need them, I have
you
them.
can print them out or whatever. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. So how do you decide like when you need to CCHR or when this needs to be a formal?
I
write-up
include
or-
HR when it's something big, and it's hard to describe what something big is,
Yeah.
right? But like I said, a tone that somebody has towards a student, if it's just their tone I'm addressing, that does not need to include HR. If it's something that, or here's an example, when somebody with their team member, like it was something that I felt like was going to be something bigger, like when they yelled at their team members and it was just like an off the, like I was like really concerned, like yes, her tone was, and yes, she wasn't cussing anybody, but it was pretty ugly, then yes, I include HR. But I never just CC HR, I always let HR know what's going on, and if it's something like that. So if I have contacted HR, that's when I CC them. Does that kind of make sense?
Okay, yes. So if they're already aware that there's a situation.
Yeah.
Then
If
you
I
just-
think it's ever going to get to a bigger situation, like A, that teacher's going to come back with a rebuttal, or B, a parent's going to be involved, or C, it's harming the child or children in some way, then I contact HR.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I think there's just like so much that probably just has to be learned through experience. Like you can't, there's not a hard and fast rule.
Right. There really isn't, and I think like as you get into that role, it's different at different places, so you just kind of got to learn, not that it should be, but it is.
Yeah.
So you just kind of learn the systems.
Like with
and,
kids.
yes.
Like, yeah.
And the clientele, the community that you serve is going to be different places.
Yes.
And it's not, I'm not saying like what's accepted here might not be accepted somewhere else, but in some instances it is like that. So you just kind of got to learn your, and HR, even in my last district, HR was great. Like,
that's so good.
they're always supportive.
Because I kind of think of HR as being like
scary. When you're on the I thought that way too. Like as a teacher and moving on up. But then like as I got in this role, like I realized, gosh, they're like really here for me.
Super supportive.
They're also there for the teachers.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
They really are.
So.
Because I had one that I had to send that teacher to HR because I called them because we had parent complain that like the teacher was carrying their child and they didn't like that. So, in talking to the teacher, it did not go good. I was like, no, what this parent's saying didn't happen. And so I went ahead and brought the teacher in. He's like, yeah, no, it happened. So then I had to contact HR, and then like HR was great, and so then they handled it. But they're also there for the teacher too, because I remember they told me that they had a conversation with this particular teacher because it was a male teacher working with younger kids, and so they were like, you have to be mindful. You're a male in this profession, and that it's any different than a female, but like
it could be
yes.
Yes.
And so they educated him. They worked with him.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's
so I mean, they're
really
good
to hear. Okay.
Sometimes as administrator you get frustrated though. You're like, why are you working with them? Just do something.
Right.
But you appreciate that because they do take everybody and make it like equal. They don't play a favorite. And, at least here, my experience.
That's good. Okay, that's really good to know.
Yeah.
Okay, well those are all the questions I
That's
have about
it?
HR. Yep. Oh, sorry, that's your phone.
Oh,
Yep.